Now, to illustrate further, we shall use an actual accounting system and make some entries here. Click on Journal Entry, and remember debit and credit? Debit is to plus, and credit is to minus. Before you record a transaction, you must give it a document reference and the date of transaction. Then, click on Credit because the shareholder gives away $100,000. Therefore, we have to subtract, that is to credit the shareholder account. For the remarks, we can put it as paid up capital and select the share capital account. Type S and you can see share capital. Click OK and we are done. Now, all you have to do is enter $100,000. That is the amount given out by the shareholder. The same amount of money is put into our bank account. So we want to add this same amount into the bank account. Add is equal to debit, so we click on debit, and now we have to select under the account code bank account. We search by code and select the OCBC bank account. The amount of $100,000 is automatically entered for you. So debit and credit means plus and minus. The account that gives will be credited and the account that receives will be debited. It is as simple as that. KANGAROO accounting system will automatically generate this journal entry for you. Now, is this correct? We are now ready to proceed with our next illustration. We select the bank account and record our check payment. Remember to record the document reference first. In this case, OCBC.111222. Enter the date of the check and the remark. Well, this is for the purchase of stocks, so we can enter the remark as stocks for sale. Select the purchase account, because this is the account that receives the value. Select purchases and enter the supplier's invoice number. Remember, you are paying for a particular supplier's invoice. For the sake of simple illustration, we shall select the GST code as 0 rated. The normal GST rate is 7%, so we enter the amount followed by the supplier's code. Click on the Help key and bring the cursor down to the correct supplier, in this case, Fair Trade Corporation. Click OK, and we have selected our supplier and our GST amount is 0 because we have selected 0 rated. Now, we are ready to key in our next check number, which is OCBC 111223. Do you follow? Just enter the check number, followed by the date of the check and the remark. In this case, office furnishing. Simply key in a brief description under remark, and then we want to add this value to the furniture and fittings account. Type F, and you can see the account. Likewise, key in the tax invoice number, and if it is 0 rated, we select ZP for 0 rated, and we can then enter the amount, which is $100,000. You can enter a new supplier code and create a new record in our master file. Once this is done, you can save this master file recording by clicking the OK button below. So, we have entered the 2 records and leave it to KANGAROO accounting system to generate our audit trail. This audit trail will show us the journal entries for each transaction. Now we will show you the debit and credit entries again. This audit trail is automatically generated, and you can see the account that gives is the bank account, so it is credited. Subtract. The account that receives will have to add the value, so we add $30,000 into purchases account. Likewise, furniture and fittings account is debited, and the OCBC bank account is credited with $10,000. Simple? Now we shall look at the general ledger and see what we can find recorded in it. Remember, the general ledger is the KANGAROO enclosure with all the kangaroos inside. So you can see the first KANGAROO, the purchases account, and then OCBC bank account with all the history of the transactions recorded, with a net value of $60,000 left in the account. All the transactions are reflected in each of the accounts. You can also see the furniture and fittings account, as well as the share capital account. All these accounts are at one place, the general ledger. You can think of the general as the home for all the accounts. Now, what about the trial balance? Remember our trial balance? Yes, when we arrange the kangaroos into 2 columns with positive values to the left and all the negative values to the right, you get the trial balance like this. The important thing to take note is that when you add up all the values on the debit side and compare that to the amount on the credit side, it must tally. Now we shall record our sales for January with our cash sales journal. Again, we have to assign a document reference followed by the date. So, under Remarks, we key in sales for January and select the account code Sales Account. Then, we will credit this account because the sales account is giving away the $100,000 and putting this into the bank account. So, we have to add debit $100,000 to the bank account. Debit means add. Search by code and select the OCBC bank account, and you can see our sales collection of $100,000 is debited. Again, you can see that the system will automatically generate the journal entries for us. Is this correct? Credit sales account and debit OCBC bank account. Yes, accounting can be really fun and easy if you understand the basic principle of double entry and if you have a simple and effective system like the KANGAROO accounting system. Just sit back and relax while we take you into more examples. With the KANGAROO accounting system, you can now get your financial statements on time. All you need to do is to call out the report you want. For example, one click of your mouse and you have the trial balance. Remember the trial balance? The accounts arranged with all the positive values on the left and the negative values on the right. Isn't it simple? Each month, you will be able to call out the profit and loss statement, and this will show you how much gross profit you have made for the month. The gross profit is your figure before taking into account fixed overheads. Here we are, your sales, cost of sales, and gross margin. Isn't this fantastic? The KANGAROO accounting system provides you with a quick and easy way to record your fixed overheads. Here is the data entry screen. All you need to do is to key in the check number under the document reference column, followed by the date written on the check and the little remarks indicating the nature of this transaction. We want to add a value to the expense account, and we want to subtract the value from the bank account that is paying out the money. For every payment, there must be a supporting invoice. This we call the tax invoice, if there is tax levied on the transaction. Otherwise, we just input the information as a supplier's invoice. Can you see how easily you can do this? Simply enter the document reference, which is the check number, followed by the date and remark, and then pick out the expense item from the help screen. KANGAROO accounting system will automatically add the amount to the expense account and credit or subtract the same amount from your bank account. You need not worry about the journal entry. In a little while, you will be able to see how the KANGAROO accounting system takes care of the automatic journal entries for you. All you need to do is to input one simple entry like this, showing the check number, the date of the transaction, the remark, and then select the expense account using the help screen. Type E and the expenses will appear. Enter the tax invoice number or the supplier's invoice reference and then select the GST category. Standard rated is 7%. When you are done, click OK and repeat the same process over and over again. Can you do this simple, easy entry? Well, that is all it takes to record your operating expenses. More illustrations will follow using the same procedure over and over again. Every invoice from your supplier will have a reference. This is called the tax invoice reference. All you need to do is to key in the invoice reference. If there is no invoice, simply put NA, not available or not applicable. Yes, KANGAROO accounting system will make your entries so easy that even a child will be able to do this for you. All you need to do is to apply the repetitive procedure for each transaction to record the document reference, the date, a remark, and then select the expense item from the help screen. Click OK when you are done and enter the relevant invoice numbers and the correct GST tax codes where applicable. You can select 0 rated if there is no GST, and then proceed to enter the amount and supplier code. So there is nothing difficult. Anyone can master this procedure within 10 to 20 minutes. When you are done, save your transaction. And hey, presto! You can see the double entries on the screen. You will notice that the bank account gives away these values and all these values are added to the respective expense account. So we credit or subtract the value from the bank account and add the value to the expense account as well as the GST account where applicable. All you need to do is one easy entry and post the transaction to accounts. That will update the general ledger for you. We shall now take a peek into the general ledger, and you can see the purchases account being debited and the bank account being credited because we have to minus out all these values which is given out by the bank account and add them to the account that is receiving the value, namely the purchases account and all the expenses accounts. All these accounts are found at one place called the general ledger. The general ledger is your kangaroo enclosure where all your kangaroos are kept. So the general ledger is a home for all the accounts. The historical transaction within each account is recorded so that you can trace the movement of funds in and out of each account. When you summarize all the accounts and present it in two columns, positive values to the left and negative values to the right, you get your trial balance. You can even do your profit and loss statements with the Kangaroo accounting system. All you have to do is elect the cutoff date and enter your closing stocks. Here we are, your profit and loss statement showing your sales, your cost of sales, your gross margin as well as the overheads which we have just recorded. When you take the gross margin and less off these overheads, you get your net operational profit or loss. Isn't that easy? Yes, Kangaroo accounting system is simple but not simplistic. It is powerful and helps you make child's play out of a complex subject like accounting. You can even get your balance sheet showing your assets, your share capital, and your liabilities as well as retained profit and loss. Kangaroo accounting system makes your life easy. It makes accounting fun and easy. Although simple, the Kangaroo accounting system is powerful and comprehensive. You can input your credit sales, cash sales, sales returns, and other transactions simply by selecting the E to Z entry options. To call out your report, click your report button and you are ready to call out the accounts receivable, accounts payable, GST, as well as all the reports in the general ledger. Now, running a business is like driving a powerboat. There are dangers under the water which are not visible to you. For this reason, you will need a navigational tool, just like a boatman requires radar. With this system, we will give you the key accounting ratio report. This will give you a navigational tool. Just like radar, it will signal you to imminent danger. Here you can see your sales turnover, your gross profit margin, your average daily sales turnover, your average monthly sales turnover, your debtors information, including the average collection cycle, and so on. This report also gives you your working capital and the sales trend for the last 3 months. Now, this will be immensely useful to entrepreneurs who have no training in financial management. With this report, you can steer clear of danger and avoid common pitfalls. Yes, wise up and switch over to the Kangaroo accounting system. It is simple, user-friendly, and affordable. Call us now for more information. We will be happy to assist you with your needs.